As you can see from the title, and I can finally share this with you, I got an internship. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I got into UI UX and got an internship with no experience, and that too within 6 months. So what UI and UX is UI is basically what you see. So let's take an example of YouTube. So when you open the app, what you see is the UI. The things that you interact with is UI, and UX would be how you feel, like how easy it is for you to share videos with your friends, or how you feel when you use YouTube. Do you feel happy? Do you feel annoyed because of some ads and stuff? So that's what comes into UX, and UX is more about how people experience a particular product. Now let's talk about how I got into UI UX and why I decided that I wanted to do this. Now going back to December of 2020, as any graduate students, if you guys don't know, I'm doing masters in computer application, which is MCA, and I'm in my 5th semester. So we have exams till the 5th semester, and the 6th semester is completely about internship and getting experience in the desired field that you want to do your career in. So coming to MCA, I was like, okay, fine, I get another chance to be better at coding and stuff like that. But when December came, everything started falling, and I was like, what am I going to do? I don't like coding as much, and it's not my strength. Even if I become like a software developer, I would be terrible at it, and probably it will give me so much anxiety if like I code something and it gives me 1,000 errors, and I'll be like, what? So yeah, I was like, what am I going to do with my life and what I need to do? So one day I was casually browsing my syllabus to see what subjects I have in my next semester, and that's when I found that I have UX, user experience design, in my next semester. And I was like, okay, like a new subject. So that day I randomly got like a YouTube recommendation. So thank you, YouTube. I got a YouTube recommendation about a day in my life as a UX designer, and I actually got that same video like months back when I wasn't even considering UX as a job or a career for myself, because I already have a subject in my syllabus. I anyway have to study it, so I was like, okay, let's see what if I become like a UX designer, what my life would be like. So I watched that video and I was like, okay, I mean, it sounds interesting. So I did some research. I found out that this is literally something that actually resonates with me and something that I can do very well, which is not about coding. And if you think like, being a UX designer, you need to know coding, absolutely not. You don't need to know coding, but if you do know, then you would be considered as unicorns, because there are very few people who know coding and designing at the same time. So if you know coding, good for you. But definitely I'm not good into coding. So I was like, okay, now that I know that I want to do UX design, I wanted to search for resources for that matter. So I will be self-learning it. So I was like, okay, fine. But reality strike me that if I am going to self-learn, and like there are so many information out there on the internet, and you don't know which to focus on and which you can probably skip. So it was like, what am I going to do? So after like doing like a little digging here and there, and like going onto Google and searching for queries here and there, I found out that Google is offering a UX course on Coursera. So I was like, okay, now this sounds good. So I went on to Coursera and I saw like the materials and the requirements and what they are offering and stuff, and what I would learn if I do this course. So after doing that, I understood that I get to learn a lot, and probably it's a better idea for me to enroll myself into the course and get to know what it is about. So I did enroll into it. The first course was like an introductory course, like a lot of foundation things that you need to know as a UX designer, like what an entry level UX design job looks like, framework, and what are the skills that you need to know. So there were a lot of things that you need to know. So it was like a good course, like it gave like a good amount of glimpse into UX design and what it's going to be like. The second course was all about researching. So we did primary research. There are like two types of research methods, which is primary research, secondary research. So it taught everything about research, what goes into, when you create a product, you need to know who is going to use your product. So you need to know who your audience are, who you are targeting that product to, and who is going to use it for a long term. So that's what the second course was all about. So like the third course was all about you ideate and you create wireframes. So during the course I also learned design softwares like Adobe and Figma, which I had no clue about. So yeah, during that time I also learned those, how to use those softwares. And the fourth course was all about usability study. Whatever wireframes you created, it's like a clickable wireframes, which is like low fidelity prototypes, and you test it with real users, or like the users that you think are the targeted users. If they find it useful or if they find it confusing, so you need to change the language, or if there is any things that they don't understand in your app and you need to make any sort of changes regarding that. So you did that. And then on the fifth course you kind of are on the high fidelity. So now you have done the changes and now the user has also given you feedback. So based on that you create like real looking prototypes and high fidelity prototypes, so that it gives like a real app feels. And like the first five courses was all about creating a mobile app. Then the sixth course was all about creating a website, which is like a responsive website. So I also learned how to create responsive websites, and you need to create different screens for different experience. So like you also use websites on your mobile phone, so the website would look different when used on a mobile phone, or use it on a tablet, then definitely the screen would be different. So I also learned that. And like the seventh course was kind of like a combination of everything, and it was about creating a app as well as creating like a website, like a responsive website. So yeah, it was really fun. And also in the last course they also gave us some like additional information about how you can find jobs and stuff. And the best part about it is you get to learn so much within those course, as well as you can also do extra research if you want to know more about the subject. They also give you like links and stuff so you can read. Now coming to the portfolio, so I have heard that whenever you do an online course or you do a bootcamp or anything, you usually have like a portfolio template that they give you. The fact about it is, since I have watched like a lot of videos on how to create better portfolios, I can give you like my tips on how to create a portfolio. So I created my portfolio on Notion, and for that I also got like a template from Google on how you can structure your portfolios, but how to stand out from others. So one thing that I noticed is that instead of going through the templates and creating check boxes like, okay, persona checked, research checked, so instead of doing that, like, if you follow the template is pretty good, but the thing is that you need to show your own personality into your portfolio as well. Since it's about, portfolio is about how good you know about the subject that you did, like how good you know about UX, how good you know about UI. But at the same time, portfolio is also something personal, so you can share a little about yourself and what you do and how you got into UX in the first place. Show a bit of your personality and let the recruiters know that you are different and you know how to express yourself. So yeah, that's what I would say. If you want to get a job into UX, it's very important that you network, because through networking you can get really great opportunities. So what I like about the UX course that I took was that Google actually has like its own community of UX designers, like whoever was taking that course. So we kind of connected on this LinkedIn group, and there was so much information that others were sharing, and also we were helping each other out with like the research and stuff. So whoever is doing the projects, so if they need like a certain sort of target audience, it was easier to find on that group since there were a lot of people, and they can give their feedback on those things, and we can create something or take their feedback to the changes as per the requirements and create a better product. So yeah, do networking, make a profile on LinkedIn, create some genuine connection with them. It's not like, when you're talking to them, you're like, oh, do you know somebody who is into UX? I want a job. Don't start your conversation like that. It's kind of feels needy, and don't ever do that. I would say like start like a genuine conversation with somebody, and as the conversation go, you can actually learn from each other. Find a study partner who is also into the same field, so that way you can share your experiences, share your thoughts, and you can both learn from each other as well at the same time. So yeah, find a study buddy who you can keep yourself accountable with. Now, one thing that I would say as like a new designer is sometimes even when designing, you kind of don't get ideas real quick. But I can say that, if you practice designing, it would help you in a long run. So there are so many websites out there. I would link few of them, few of my favorites down below. So there is like daily UI and UX challenges where they have curated some prompts. Even Sharpen has some prompts that you can use to create designs, and you can expand your knowledge a bit and explore about the subjects and create new designs related to that. And also, if you can put like a deadline to yourself, would be really great, because I thought that I gave myself a deadline of 4 months, which did not happen since I did not know anything about UX. It definitely took me time, and I thought, designing would take me like less time, even research would take me less time. But to be honest, I wanted to do everything very perfectly, and I need to know who I was designing for. It took me a while to kind of figure out what direction I want to go to and how I want to do things in the first place. So it definitely took me a while, but setting deadlines for yourself is really, really good. I mean, I think if I wouldn't have set myself like deadline in the first place, it would have taken me more than 6 months. But if you put yourself a deadline, you kind of are motivated enough to do it, and you are like, yeah, I need to get it done. So you don't procrastinate if you have put in deadlines on yourself. But if you feel like you need a break, do take a break once in a while, I will say that. Now let's talk about some of the books that you can read if you want to get into UX, or if you want to know more about how UX actually works. So the number one book recommendation that I would give would be Design of Everything from Don Norman. I have personally read this book, and it actually is really good and kind of like an eye opening, I would say, since you don't actually realize how everyday things are designed and how they help you to get things done. Like buttons on your TV or your washing machine are the way they are. So yeah, you get like a different perspective, and you kind of learn a bit more about designing. The next book that I would suggest is Don't Make Me Think. It's the book that I'm reading right now, and to be honest, it talks a lot about usability study and why it is important. There is so much knowledge there. I mean, he talks a lot about the common things that we miss. I mean, if you read the book, you will say, oh, I already know this thing. But when you're designing, this common things are something that you skip on, and you think of like the bigger things, but actually these are the small things that matters. So it's like a really, really great book. I haven't finished it yet, but I am like halfway there, so I might finish it when then like next week or so. But it's like a really good read. And the last but not the least book that I would like to suggest is Sprint. It's from like a Google employee, and the main reason to do a sprint is to create designs that the user actually would use. And you put a project on a design sprint because there are very different ways that you can design those apps or a website. So yeah, that were my books recommendation that I would give. I think I might have covered everything, but if you still want to know more, you can DM me and we can have a chat, or you can just comment down below, and I'm always active on the comments, so I would give you guys all the answers that you're asking. So yeah, that's it for today's video. And if you want to see more UX design videos, give this video a huge thumbs up. Also come and follow me on my Instagram, since I'll be doing a lot of posts there related to designing. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I don't know what to talk now. I think I've talked too much, but I hope that you got to know me a little better with this video, and what was going on and why I was MIA. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her.